workshop on full stack web development. So I'm directly entering into the session. So full stack web development. So there is a small agenda for this 2-hour session. So Unit-1, basis of full stack. So all of you are very much familiar about the buzzword full stack. So which having a collection of languages which combine together to develop a website. So which will be called a stack. Then anyway, we start from a base. So understanding the basic of web development framework, not web development, web development framework. Web development framework. Currently, there are numerous number of web development framework which plays a vital role. Angular, Express, React, Spring Boot, then Django, Flask, etc., etc. Numerous number of frameworks which playing a vital role. So initially we start from a base. So basic web development framework, a small intro. Then we are entering into web browser, web server, and what is backend services. Why it plays a vital role. Why user kind of, there is client-side scripting, server-side scripting. In addition to that, a backend process, a database process. So why these 3 tiers are needed. Third, we are entering into MVC architecture. So it's a very famous architecture. Till which stands on the field, which is one of the standard architecture which is named as modern view controller. Model view controller architecture. So we describe little more about MVC architecture. Then the theme of the workshop which focused on different stacks. So there are n number of stacks are available. Anyway, we will discuss few more vital stacks. So different stacks. Then there are 4 major tools. First one which is called as Express. Second one which is named as Angular. Third one which is named as Node. Third one as simple database which is called as MongoDB. At last, 5th one which is React. So this is a core. So we focus on these things. Express.js, Angular.js. Initially in the version 1 which is called as Angular.js. After version 2 which is named as Angular. So Express, then Angular, then Node.js, MongoDB, then React. So this is for small agenda for this 2-hour session. So we'll enter into a base. So understanding the basis of web development framework. So starts from the base. So web development framework. So we'll start from web. Start from the buzzword web. So all are more familiar about the word web. Web, which simply means website or web page. So anything which run on the internet, which will be called as web. It's fine. So website or web page, which called as web, which directly run over internet. So it's our duty to build a web application. So that's for development. So development means for developing a website or web page. So web development. So creating a website. So web development, creating a website, not only for creating a website, for deploying a website. Not only for creating a website, for deploying a website. So first of all, you can design a web page. After that, you can publish or deploy the website into the server. In addition to that, not only for designing your page, you can program your page. So designing, it's for only for front-end design. But programming, it needs some basic process in the backend too. So web programming is also essential. The third one, which is called the database. So there are 3-tier architecture. The first tier, which is called a database. So in the backend, database is a container which used to store the data. The second one, which is called as backend, it performed via programming, web programming. So backend program, which fetches the data from database. Then the third one, which is called as front end, which is for web page design. The web page design, which fetches the data from backend programming, web programming. At last, the front end design, which will be displayed to the client via browser. I hope it's fine. So database is a container, backend, which is a web programming, which fetching the data from database, front end, we choose to display the data as per user expectation. So this is for web development framework. So web development framework, which comprising of 3 core areas. The first one, which is called as database. The second one, which is called as backend. The third one, which is called as front end. That's fine. I hope it's clear. Then There are three excellent basic languages. I hope all are much more familiar about these three languages because this is basic. These three languages are prerequisite for learning full stack development. The three languages are a basic requirement for learning full stack development. The first one, which is called as HTML. So hypertext markup language. Hypertext markup language, which gives a skeleton structure of a page. Which gives a skeleton structure of a page. So the entire structure of a page which built via HTML. So HTML is very easy, so it's fine. Then second one, which is called as JavaScript. The second one, which is named as JavaScript, which gives the interaction. So JavaScript is one of the excellent client-side scripting language. As the name itself, client-side scripting language, the language which is directly running on client-side browser. It won't need any web server or any kind of tools. It directly running on web browser. That's fine. JavaScript is a client-side scripting language which directly rely on web browser. So which gives the basic interactivity. So the basic kind of actions which run at client side. So basic interactivity which performed via JavaScript, which gives a dynamic updates. So all kind of client side dynamic actions which performed via JavaScript. Then third excellent language. Anyway, HTML and JavaScript are two dominating languages, but all the users are expected a fancy layout. If you are designing any excellent web page or excellent programming environment, anyway, in addition to that, which need a fancy layout. So cascading style sheet, CSS, which provides a fancy layout to the web page. So color, font, then their logo design, then their all other attractivity designs, everything which performed via cascading style sheet. CSS, which gives a fancy layout to the web page. So the presentation style which performed via CSS. So these three languages are fundamentals or prerequisites for learning full stack development. So the first language, which is called as HTML, which gives a skeleton structure of a page. So which gives the entire layout of the content. So the content which is designed via HTML. In addition to that, it provides the structure of the web page. So even though the contents which provided via backend, the complete structure, complete design structure which provided via HTML. So as the name itself says, it provides a building block. It provides a building block. Then CSS, as the name itself, cascading style sheet, so which provide a stylish website, which applies styles to web page and its each and every individual elements. So individual elements styles also defined via this style sheet. Then in addition to that, which also define the screen size, because many of the users are using mobile phone, some of them viewing via laptop, some of them viewing via desktop, some of them viewing the web page via the HTTP. So based on screen size, it provides a responsive web page. It provides, please listen the word carefully, it provides a responsive website. So CSS, which provides, if you are using browser in mobile, the web page also compatible for mobile phone via the CSS. If you are opening the page via tab, the web page automatically fit for the tab size. So it's also compatible using the stylish language CSS. Then if you are accessing via desktop, laptop or HTTP, automatically which will be expand the screen size. So automatically it provides responsive pages. It provides an excellent look and feel. Sorry, it provides an excellent look and feel to your web page. So first one for HTML, the second one for CSS, third one for JavaScript. JavaScript, which validate your web page. Each and every client-side validation or client-side interaction, which done via JavaScript. So all those frameworks, Angular, React, Express, or Vue.js, so all those kind of excellent frameworks are built or developed via this JavaScript. JavaScript is a fundamental base for all the frameworks. Yeah, then we are entering into our first topic. So the first topic, which is named as Web Development Framework. Web is a web page or website which directly rely on internet. Then next we are entering into the basis of 3 languages. The first one HTML, the second one CSS, third one JavaScript. Now we are entering into our first topic. The topic is Web Development Framework. So as a name itself, web development, so simply it's used for developing a web page or developing a website. Framework, set of resources. Please listen carefully. Set of resources are tools to build or manage your application. So collection of services or collection of resources we choose to build a website. For example, initially there are 3-tier architecture. The first one database, second one backend, third one frontend. So which need 3 tools. Database, either MySQL or Oracle or Postgres or MongoDB. So database is one tool. Then backend designed via Python Django or Python Flask or Java Spring Boot. So which is a second tool. Then the front end, which is designed via Angular or React or Vue.js. So which design is so which need 3 tools. So the combination of these 3 tools or 3 resources, which is called a web development framework. I hope it's clear. So set of resources are set of tools for a software developer to build or manage a web application. So collection of resources. First one for database, second one for backend tool, third one for front-end tool. The combination of these 3, which is called as web development framework. In addition to that, we choose to help to build an API, application programming interface. So a backend which connected to front end with the help of this API. Backend and front end are interacted via API. We will discuss later. So either it's web application framework or simply called as web frameworks. So normally this if you are developing any web application frameworks which deploy or run on stack, something called as Linux is also one of the web application framework. Apache Tomcat or Apache is a framework. MySQL, PHP, LAMP. So there are numerous number of stacks are available. So each and everything having their own standardization. Yeah. So this is for web development framework. So in addition to that, there are another important term for this web development framework. It's very, very essential for learning React or Angular or then Vue.js or something called as Express.js or anything. There is an important term, the term which is called as component. Please listen carefully. Component is a very, very important term. If you are designing a web page, the web page which comprising of n number of components. This is for component 1 for displaying a clock. This is for component 2 for displaying a calendar. This is for component 3 for displaying advertisement, something like that. So a web page, which actually this is a single page. It's called a SPA. All of you are very much familiar about the buzzword which is called a SPA. So single page application. So the entire web page which is merged into a single one. Now every framework did the same. Every framework which developed a SPA application, single page application. So inside that single page application, each and every term or each and everything which is called as component. So for example, initially I have a component which is called as something calendar or something which used to display a date or time or clock, then for displaying advertisement. So which comprising of collection of component. So the entire web page which is called as single page. Inside that, each and everything which is separated into component. Why it's separated? Why this separation is needed? You think about that. I have write a separate program for clock. I have write a separate program for calendar. I have write a separate program for advertisement. Why this separation? All of them very much familiar. The separation always helps for reusability. For example, whenever a calendar needed or whenever a calculator needed, I will reuse it again and again. So a code can separate it by module or page by page. Whenever needed, it can call easily. So first reason for reusability. Second reason, if you are refreshing a page, for example, each and every second a clock was refreshed. In addition to that, here I will display a cricket score. I will display a cricket score. Whenever a player attempting a score of 4 or 6 or 1 or 2 something, automatically the screen was updated. So in that situation, if you are refreshing the entire component, it's not a good practice. So the cricket score, which is a separate component, a cricket score is a separate component. Whenever a score increases, this component only refresh on your web page. Whenever a time changes, this clock component only refresh. Whenever a date changes, this calendar component only refresh. So this is another excellent advantage for presenting the information. So component is an application template for presenting information within a web browser. So component is an application template. It provides a template for present information within browser. So yeah, single page which comprising of n number of components, each and every component which refresh separately. It's the greatest advantage. So for example, all of them viewing a news, all of them viewing a news channel. For example, if you are viewing news channel, so the entire background was common. So the person speaking in news, they are also static, but their lip and eyeball only move. So why the web server, they are video streaming server, always transmitting the background and the personality and then lip movement and then eyeball movement. Only whatever the motion caption, whatever the motion which will be done on that place, that is lip movement and eyeball movement, that will be transmitted. So similar way, here whatever component which will be refreshed, that component only updated, remaining components still static. So this is the greatest advantage of each and every web development framework. So the web development framework, the first advantage, which offer a SPA, single page application. The second advantage, which will provide each and everything as a component, So each and every component which will be refreshed separately. Then the programming environment for scripting the flow of information. This flow of information, which component which will be activated first, which component which will be timely refreshed, the entire flow which managed by component. Even API access, for example, my document component which need a HTTP access or database access, which also provide as a separate component named as HTTP component. So it's very easy for pre-built component. For example, already I have developed a calculator component. There is pre-built component. Wherever needed, I will add this calculator component. That's very easy. That's code snippet was very easy. The debugging was very easy. The quality assurance testing was very easy. So component is one of the core concepts which plays a vital role in web development framework. Web development framework, which having collection of advantages. The first advantage, please listen carefully. The web development framework, which having collection of advantages. The first advantage, the framework which speed up the application development. Yes, numerous number of components was already pre-built, so it's easy for using that component. All those components are pre-built, so it reduces user error. So the components are already available, so user can write less number of code. It provides reusability. It provides simplicity. The debugging was very easy, which provides increased reliability. These are the excellent advantage of web development frameworks. One second. So always, many of the web development frameworks. One second, please. Sorry. So web development framework, is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So web development frameworks, which is always open source. There are numerous number of open source web application frameworks, and also the open source frameworks are already tested. So the code optimization, so it reduces error, so it provides a better performance for our code. So numerous number of open source codes are available, so it's easy for integrate into our web page. So in addition to that, the many of the web development frameworks are widely used, which having industry standard. These frameworks are industry standard frameworks, so which is very faster and which is also lightweight too. So it's easy for accessing this web frameworks. So all of them, 99.9% of web development users, they are using web development frameworks. In addition to that, JavaScript, in the sense, the security was less, many of them thinking like that, but it provides better security, not for best security. Anyway, it provides better level of security. If you need best security, it's your duty to add SSL or any kind of firewalls, etc., etc. It's your duty. Anyway, it provides better level of security. Okay, so it avoids, it helps programmer for many risks. So web development frameworks is one of the excellent tool for web applications. I hope it's clear. Any doubts? Any questions? Or is it okay? Shall I continue? Yeah, first day. So I will start from base. So very soon I'm entering into hands-on too. Any doubts? Any question? Please use chat box. Either no questions, please at least use chat box to type no questions. Or is this okay or not? Is it clear for web development framework? Thanks, madam. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Then I'm entering into some basic types of framework. So the web development frameworks, which categorized into two types. The one which is called as front-end framework, the second one which is named as back-end framework. As the name itself, front-end and back-end. Front-end, it's in user end, so user can view the front-end tools. So it's for client side. So user side or client side, which is called as front-end. So the user side pages which designed via HTML, CSS, JavaScript, or jQuery, which provide the interactivity, of your page. So this is for front end. So user side, which is called as front end, server side, which is named as back end. The server side, which is called as back end. So the backend application, which also receives a HTTP request and provides a HTTP response. Some of the backend frameworks, Node.js, Python is an excellent backend framework. Python is a language. Actually, the excellent backend framework, which is called as Django. Django is an excellent Python framework for backend programming, or otherwise another backend programming in Python, which is called as Flask. Flask is another excellent backend programming language in Python. Then PHP, .NET, ASP.NET, XML.NET, C#.NET. Then Java, something called as Spring Boot is excellent. Hypernet, these are the excellent frameworks in Java. Then Ruby on Rails, these are the excellent backend frameworks which plays a vital role for developing a web application. One second. So the front end frameworks, some of the front end frameworks. HTML is a static language which is also provide design. Then CSS, some of the excellent CSS frameworks, Bootstrap, all are more familiar about the word called as Bootstrap. Bootstrap is one of the famous framework. Then Primer CSS. In addition to that, there are numerous number of CSS also available. Then JavaScript. So olden days JavaScript, which is called as ES6. Then later, many of them for JavaScript, there are it categorized into two types. One for procedure oriented, second one for object oriented. Currently, many of them using object oriented. So JavaScript, which converted into TypeScript. TypeScript is object oriented. Okay. After compilation, which will build JavaScript. Okay. TypeScript is a pure object oriented programming language. So many of them currently the object oriented programming which dominates the value. So because of that reason, you will build a program, you will develop a program using TypeScript. After that, you can compile, it will automatically develop a JavaScript code. So many of them using TypeScript also currently. So for building these frameworks, which need two package manager, one is for Node package manager, another one for Yarn package manager. So some of the JavaScript framework, basic JavaScript framework, Angular, Vue, then etc. etc. But React is not a framework, React is a library. Okay, please listen carefully. Angular is a framework,